analysts say that this decrease in South Africa's petrol price could mean what they're calling a U-turn for South Africa's economy.
I think we're going to feel it by not paying as much when you are filling up your car's petrol tank. I don't think it's going to bleed through to the market as sufficiently as what we are hoping. So I think it's an opportunity for retailers to use it as a marketing strategy with cost savings. They can pass those on to their customers, but they do it through sales strategy rather than dropping the base price of their goods on their book.
I want to speak to you about this a little more, because often when the petrol price increases, we see that prices of course, transport, but also food and other things like that go up. But we rarely see those prices coming back down when the petrol price comes back down.
Yes.
Is this what you're speaking to us about?
Yes, very, very simply, two basics, bread and milk. I'd love a researcher to plot the price of milk and bread over 15 years and try and correlate that to movements or changes in the interest rate, changes in CPI, in other words, our inflation rate, and the change in the fuel price. And let's see if the price of bread has actually ever dropped. I don't think it has.
Yeah. Now, what do you say to the South African like you and me who are just dependent on using petrol to get around? Most South Africans are. How do we cleverly use our money to try and keep up with the fluctuating fuel price?
I believe that there's an opportunity to use what could be our financial nemesis to our advantage. In other words, invest in the very instruments that are the cause of our displeasure, our financial discomfort. I would love to be profiting, and we have got initiatives underway through an entity, Cardinal Petroleum Holdings, to invest in fuel-related operations with a view to getting a return. And that return is in the best interest of our shareholders. So in other words, if 10 or 20% of the cost of my petrol tank is paid for by a return from an instrument like Brent futures or warrants or any other type of derivative or an equity, Sasol for example, then it gives me a certain degree of pleasure. But we are living in a little bit of an illusion if we believe that it's going to change our lives so dramatically. We're not going to feel it in net disposable income, I don't think. You're not going to, in other words, have that much more money in your pocket.
But at least you'll have the peace of mind knowing that you're offsetting it just a tiny bit.
Yes, and there are many companies, many of the banks have got trading portals. They offer courses, so you can start with small amounts of money, learn the markets, get into warrants, get to understand how the equity markets operate. And there's the potential for you to trade in Brent futures at some point. Brent futures are a far more risky instrument, but your profit potential is far greater than trading in equities.